Welcome to this episode of Event Explorer. Today, I am thrilled to take you on a journey through the world of Comicons, one of my personal favorite types of events. Now, I've been to the San Diego Comic-Con myself, and every time I go, I am blown away by the passion and the creativity that the cosplayers, artists, and fans bring to these events. The energy is incredible, and there's really nothing like it. Did you know that the earliest Comic-Cons were much smaller, fan-driven gatherings? They took place in basements and union halls, and the very first official Comic-Con was held back in 1964 in New York. It was called the New York Comic-Con, and it was actually organized by a group of teenage fans. It wasn't a big show, but it laid the groundwork for what would become a massive industry. Back in those days, Comic-Cons weren't about meeting your favorite creators, trading comics, and talking shop with fellow fans. They were more grassroots efforts, inspired by the science fiction conventions that had been around since the 1930s. One of the earliest major Comic-Cons was the Triple Fanfare in Detroit in 1965, and from there, these events started popping up all across the country. They were typically one-day shows, nothing like the multi-day extravaganzas we see today. Things really started to change in the 1970s, especially with the launch of the San Diego Comic-Con in 1970. This is where Comic-Cons truly hit the mainstream. What started as these small events for a few hundred people have now grown into the largest pop culture conventions in the world, with over 100,000 fans attending each year. I've had the chance to see it firsthand. Over the time, Comic-Cons have evolved to include much more than just comics. Now you've got everything from blockbuster movie premieres to video game launches and cosplay contests. And I've got to say, the dedication and creativity of cosplayers are one of the things I love to see most about these events. As the world of Comic-Cons continued to grow, by the late 80s and 1990s, they were no longer just for these comic book fans, but now they started to embrace, movies, TV shows, animation, video games, and part of that shift came from the success of movies like Batman in 1989, which really caught the comic book culture and brought it into the mainstream. Here's a cool fact. The largest Comic-Con in the world isn't even in the US. It's actually in Japan, Comicon, which draws over 500,000 attendees. Just goes to show you how global Comic-Cons have become. And they are big business. San Diego Comic-Con, for instance, generates more than $160 million in economic impact for the city of San Diego. Comic-Cons have become huge fan events, and they're also a cultural phenomenon. They're places where people from all walks of life come together to share their passion for these characters and stories. Whether you're into comics, movies, TV shows, or even wrestling, there's something for everyone. Today, we've got a special guest, John Hernandez, president of Big Texas Comic-Con. If you're a fan of pop culture and live in or near San Antonio, this is an event you don't want to miss. Since it first started, Big Texas Comic-Con has grown quickly into a major event, drawing big-name celebrities and creating unforgettable experiences. This year's lineup includes huge stars like John Bernthal, Charlie Cox, and even the original cast of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's even the cast of Lord of the Rings. John's here today to share with us what it takes to pull off an event of this scale, how Big Texas Comic-Con has grown up over the years, and what fans can look forward to this October. So if you're curious about the behind-the-scenes magic that makes Comic-Cons happen, you're in for a treat. And before we jump, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the Event Explorer podcast, follow us, and like us on social so you can not miss a single episode. All right? Well, let's get to it. All right, John, welcome to Event Explorer. It's great to have you on the show today. We're excited to dive into everything that is Big Texas Comic-Con, from its history and growth to what fans can look forward to this year and beyond. So, let's jump right in. Welcome, John.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, to kick things off, I'm a big Comic-Con fan, and origin stories are a major part of this comic universe. Let's go origin story on Big Texas Comic-Con. How long's it been going on?
We started in 2019. It started with a phone call from my brother. He called me up, said, "Hey man, let's do this thing. We've run a couple of events before. My background was operations, and I ran a minor league. I ran the operations for a minor league baseball team here in San Antonio. Called up two of our closest cousins, said, "Hey man, let's get this thing rolling," and that's how it started off, from a phone call. And the next week we're all in my brother's living room discussing everything.
No way.
So we're just four family members from the south side of San Antonio coming together, put on a great show, and going on our 5th show due to COVID.
Sure, sure. So it is a family affair. This is, you're all related
Family
here,
event
and
that helps at the show is either family or very close friends, and the very close friends, I consider them, family. You know, so it's truly family or friends that have put this thing together.
that's awesome. And so what were the challenges like that first year? I know you had a lot of connection within the operations world, and you have the mind for it, but what was it like trying to birth something from brand new kind of?
Man, it was, going all in, and saying, hey, we truly believe we're going to go all in. We're going to make this happen. For any business owners, just scary, when you see that dollar amount on your bank account drop because you invest, very, very scary. But, I know with my family, I always say we don't fail. We come together, we don't fail. We're just going to bust our butts to do the best we can. And so that was very scary to start. And,
Mhm.
knowing we weren't going to fail, it did help ease, but there's always that in the back of your mind, it's back there. And then, getting into the convention center and stuff like that, luckily, we were able to work relationships, beforehand to where people actually knew us a little bit, and they say, okay, hey man, these guys are good. They're legit. They're trying to put a legit show together, not just kind of calling for pricing and, kind of dragging process along, so there was a little headaches with some of that stuff, but,
Sure.
getting the right connections for vendors and celebrities and artists and all that stuff, coming with a brand new show and trying to come with heavy hitters, in a brand new show. One, agents and vendors aren't always eager to jump to say, hey man, yeah, let's do it. Cause they want, make sure that their clients are taken care of and their business and their money's taken care of. Cause even vendors got expenses. They got travel, hotels, staffing, food, then they're just overall costs, so, it was, the first year was pretty enter.
A little stressful,
Yeah.
but yeah, sure. But you knew it'd pay off. So I imagine there was a passion there
Yeah.
for the industry. Had you traveled and visited other Comic Cons
Yeah.
before and kind of seen what they could
Yeah.
be?
Yeah. Like any business owner, you kind of do a little research here and there and, see what you can improve on and try to get some ideas and stuff like that. Just trying to, even helping, some friends with their shows and helping them out, just kind of interacting with both, they learn from me, I learn from them kind of a thing, and to try to bring the best show possible to San Antonio. Again, we started in 2019, 2020, man, to start, we were on a roll and then the world shut down,
Mm,
which again was scary because, you just went all in on this thing and, year one, you're feeling pretty good, and then year two, feeling great. And then it just shuts down and puts you off for a year. Yeah. So that was fun times. And, ever since then, we haven't looked back. Haven't
sure.
looked.
So doing this early research and looking, coming in from a new business owner and creating a con, what did you see that a Comic Con had to have, or what are these
Right.
kind of key core elements that you knew would make your show great?
I mean, vendors are always great. Vendors are always great.
So these are comic book salespeople, ephemera,
Man,
toys.
anything you could think of, I've seen a guy that sells plants. I've seen a guy that takes scrap metal and makes it into statues and artwork. I've seen, guys that create their own type of Lego kind of a deal, their own merchandise, their own autograph, memorabilia, comic books, movie posters, all kinds of merchandise, and getting the right artist, to be part of the shows. It's really become a pop culture kind of feel, because a lot of people say, oh, well, you guys got, people like year one, we have people from the Sons of Anarchy and The Office, right? And they're like, that's not really Comic Con. Like with pop culture, it's kind of, it's evolved. wrestling's in there, Power Rangers are always going to be a big hit, so we kind of got a little bit of genre from everything out there to draw in, on the crowd because, a lot of people, they come in and say, oh, well, you guys need to get big artists, we get them, and there's different aspects of bringing those people in, making sure, we've got the right following, try to piece it all together. And it does take a little bit of thinking sometimes, like, time
Yeah.
you can't just go throw someone in there. And, you got to make sure one, it's doable. Two, it makes, financial sense. And, that the crowd's going to react.
Sure, yeah, getting the widest possible, guests and appeal there is super important to just draw bigger crowds. I've been to San Diego Comicon, which is like, Hollywood comes to town, and that's kind of one of the kind of
Yeah.
OG, Comic Cons for sure. I know they evolved from kinda trading Comic-Con trading convention, and then the artists themselves would come. Do you think the influx of like kind of Marvel movie success and Hollywood taking an interest brought this change upon in Comic
Yeah.
Cons?
I think it really has. I think that, and I think, you know, getting that accessibility to the celebrities, the people that grow up watching. Year one, we had Jaleel White, Steve Urkel. you know, of course, we all watched that show, and getting to watch
Mhm.
him or getting to meet him actually, um, you never would have thought, hey, I'm gonna meet, Steve Urkel, this week, and I think it gives them that avenue to meet their fans, interact with their fans, and fans to come meet them. And I think that plays a big part. One thing I do get excited for, especially this year, is Cobra Kai, right? Who did not love and did not watch the Karate Kid growing up? I mean, I was born in '84. I watched it growing up. It was out the year I was born. Um, but seeing my dad watching it with my nephew, that's three generations right there that come together for this one event. And they all get to meet, you know, Ralph Macchio, Billy Zapka, and
Mhm.
the cast. It's something that's really cool. That's why I do this.
Sure. That is a really strong point, and how cool is that to see a father and son or a mother and
Mhm.
daughter, coming in and that is kinda you're kinda creating these entry points into culture, right? So you may come visit, Jaleel White because mom was a huge fan of Full House or was it,
Family.
Urkel back in the day, I can't remember. Yeah, Family Matters back in the day. And then they're poking around at different comic book tables. You wanna get the kid something to read, and that may be boom, she's back
Yep.
with a box full of comics next year trying to trade and complete a set or
Yep.
something
Yep.
along those lines. Have you seen that kind of progression happen where you've actually grown a fan base yourself?
Yes. There's been again, I my background was running operations at a baseball stadium. And some of my old clients there followed me on social media, and you see them, they have absolutely no interest in a Comic Con, right? They 100% against it. But year one, they said, you know what, John, we're going to support you. We're going to come check it out, but we'll buy tickets every year now for the
Ah,
kids.
really?
Yep. Uh,
'Cause you're putting on a good show. Tell me about what you're offering, like, particularly this year. I know there's some big guests, like we're talking about, there's John Bernthal from Walking Dead and movies and TV. You got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cast members. So tell me about the different areas of the show.
I'll give you a quick rundown, man. I'll walk you in the front door.
Yeah, yeah, love
Right
it.
away, you're going to see the grand entrance, right? You walk in, they go air wall, they go entrance. You're going to be lamb right away. You walk in the front door, boom, we've got anywhere from 25 to 40 Star Wars characters, the 501st Legion and the Saber Guild, from like Star Wars characters.
How awesome, fun.
And
Yep.
they're all legit approved by like Lucasfilms and stuff like that. So their costumes and everything are legit. They're there interacting with fans, taking fan photos. They're giving lightsaber tutorials, putting on battles. Once you make it past that 30 foot, you get hit with 200 plus vendors, again, ranging from anything and everything you can think of, man. Anything superhero related, comic book related, pop culture related. I think we're at about 40 to 50 artists in attendance. Some of those comic creators, some of those just kind of, they're their own artists that create their own images that if they're comic creators, you can come meet them, get their autographs, get them to sign your comic book covers and stuff like that. We've got video gaming tournaments for cash prizes, sponsored by Nerd Focus, other prizes, tickets for next year, VIP tickets for next year. We give out some good prizes for the tournament, and that's going to go, we have it, different tournaments on every day. I think we're about 2 to 3 different tournaments every day. And Texas Gaming Empire puts that out for us. They handle everything for us. I don't have to think, which
So they're setting up the monitors and headphones and controllers and all this. So it's this whole wired up setup where people get to kind of,
yeah.
I mean, that's like the most advanced arcade you can kind of walk into,
yes.
right?
And speaking of arcade, they're bringing in some arcade games. I think they're going to bring in about 24 to 36 arcade games. So we'll have that there. Thanks for bringing that up. We'll have one.
Sure.
One of our vendors has big claw machines, for his own prizes and stuff like that. We have, I think, 20 different cosplay groups there, individuals and groups, some nonprofit that, they bring in their 10-foot Transformers, their 10-foot, Megatron, their big Lego Spider-Man. And they're just there for the fans. They're there for the fans. They raise funds for the nonprofit, but they're there for the fans and to raise their awareness for their nonprofit. We work really well with the Alzheimer's Association, right? They come out, we promote them, we give them their space, they promote their walk, they promote, their information, we partnered with the Humane Society here in San Antonio, try to adopt some of these super pets out there,
Love it.
Yeah, no, we are very big into charities. So you'll see a bunch of different aspects of the community in there as well. And then, of course you got the celebrities, we have over 40 in attendance this year. Again, ranging from Ninja Turtles, Charlie Hunter, some Sons of Anarchy with the other Sons of Anarchy cast. Me personally, I'm excited to see Elijah Wood, Frodo Baggins himself, Lord of the Rings, big Lord of the Rings guy. We've got him, John Rhys Davies, Gimli, Sean Astin, Sam, Rudy.
This is A-list.
We've got an amazing lineup this year, man. I'm beyond excited, very, very beyond excited. Shout out to my cousin Aaron who does our bookings. We've been on all year long, and this process started before the end of last year, actually. So it's been really, really amazing. And we're just glad to bring that to San Antonio. And then, we've got photo ops where you can take a quick photo, get a professional photo op with the celebrity. And we've got, we'll have, I think 4 to 5 celebrity panels a day, and panels, just a 45 Q&A session with them. You can add.
So these are on a stage with the audience and you can ask Q&A and.
Yep. 45-minute Q&A sessions. Those are really fun to see because you get some of those very entertaining questions, and the way they interact with the fans sometimes is just beyond. We had Matthew Yiller, Shaggy himself, they come do a Scream panel when we had the Screamcast a couple years ago, and seeing him walking in the crowd, just not giving a care in the world, just walking out with the fans, being one of them. With just it makes you feel good, that the fans are loving it. Even to me, even at the end of the day, if I didn't, in the back of my mind, like, oh man, this show kind of, wasn't the best, but I see that right there, worth it.
Sure.
That and we've got a costume contest. That's another thing. Yep.
Those are on stage too. That's like okay.
I think last year we had 200 to 300 entries, to the point to now where we're gonna have to start doing some pre-judging and kind of narrow that down, because it was taking a long time. And some of these costumes, there was one girl last year who I felt absolutely bad for. Her mom came up to me and she was in tears, a little, very teary-eyed, and she's like, my daughter was supposed to come. She built her costume all year long. She was putting it on this morning, cut her eye, had to go to the hospital, and had to miss the show. And, I told her, here's my email. You got the right person. I'm one of the owners. I'm the president. I will get your daughter taken care of. Tell her I'm sorry, but I want her to be my VIP guest this year, so seeing some of them, how much work and excitement that they have into this cosplay. It's really, really, really amazing to see it.
It's really their time to shine.
Mhm.
Like, they think about it and work and chat about it. And it's kind of like the ability to kind of live in the fantasy world for a day, or show off all the work you do building these costumes, right? What are some of the more intense costumes that you've seen, win these contests?
We had, I think it was last year. We had, I want to say it was about 7. He created his own transformer. Like
A 7-year-old?
yeah, I mean, he was young. Like, he
That's
was
fun.
pretty young.
Yeah.
He came on stage, got down, and he was in a truck. And then he came up and he was a transformer. That to me, that one was pretty cool. One of my all-time favorites though was a family. I think it was about 5 or 6. They came in as the Guardians of the Galaxy, all the way down to the baby with Baby Groot. That was, to me, just a plus right there. That
Right.
amazing to see the family come in all together like that.
So Comic Cons are it's not you're just paying to walk in and see a show or walk in to go shopping. It's something that people are participating in. What kind of feedback do you get from people as they're going through the show or after the show?
It's and not to harp on like the good, but it's a lot of, hey, thank you guys for doing this. It was great for my family. My kids loved it. My grandkids loved it. The way I tell people is give it a shot. Give it a shot. Like, cause you get those people like, oh man, that's nerds or that's geeky. Like, we all geek out about something. We all geek out about something. You put a football in front of me and I'm stats and I'm, players and everything. That's me geeking out. Right. And this gives a chance for everyone to geek out about comics and superheroes and cosplay and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, once you get the door, man, it's just going to be overwhelming, and you're going to see the excitement, and
Yeah.
it's like going somewhere and you're going to feed off the environment. You're just going to have fun. You're going to see people asking you for photos, if you're dressed up in costume. We do fan meetups, which I think last year we had Shamik Moore, who was Miles Morales in Across the Spider-Verse. And we did a Spider-Man meetup. And I think we had like over 60 guests just on the Spider-Man, just for a photo. I thought it was, hey, come hang it.
All costumed up as some form of Spider-Man.
Yep, anyone dressed up as any kind of Spider-Man, come hang out here for 15 minutes, chat. We're going to take a big group photo, and then that's it. And we do those about every hour throughout, and we'll do different, we did heroes, and then we did villains, we did Star Wars, we did Star Trek, we did this year, of course, we're gonna do Lord of the Rings. We're gonna have to do some biker stuff for Sons of Anarchy. There's different things in there, and it's a good vibe, and you get there and you get excited for it. I guarantee you show up, if your level of excitement was a 1, you're leaving out at least a 7. You're even happy some way or another.
And there's a lot of 10s coming out of there too.
Yeah, there's a ton of 10s, and that's my worst case scenario. You're leaving out with at least a 7. I promise you that.
Sure.
Just the excitement and seeing kids having fun. Seeing kids. Last year we had 2 young girls that came up, and they were with the rolled up newspaper or the piece of paper, right, interviewing us. Like, just one was pretending she was recording and one was pretending she was interviewing, and was coming up, hey, who was your favorite superhero? Which one is your favorite character? And I'm like, that's all it's all about,
Yep. They're going to be running some podcast someday, 20 years in the future.
You next,
Yeah. Did you have an idea that this is going to, does San Antonio have this culture that you kind of knew was there and you were going to tap into?
Yeah. San Antonio, seventh largest country or seventh largest city in the country.
Yeah, that's
You know, the living here, growing up here, all that stuff. Me and my family, we are San Antonio. You know, we are San Antonio. Our family's big here. We know the demographic. We know what they're feeding for. Um, and this was just the right. It was right time. We started,
yeah.
and year one, we started. We did good. Year two, COVID. Year three, we got back on track. Did really good, and I think we've six almost six times the attendance already from when we originally started.
That's
Yeah.
huge. And you have to accommodate for this growth
Yeah.
and yeah, that's so every year you're
Oh
putting a
yeah,
little bit
no,
more on
no,
the
no,
line.
no. Yeah, we definitely this year were like, hey, what other space do we got?
Sure.
Because it's gonna be a packed house in there. It's gonna be very fun.
Fortunately, it's a bit of a convention
Mm.
town, so you're ready. It's San Antonio puts on a good show out every day of the year. I just seen the poster behind you there. So you're like kind of a serial show promoter maker now too. So tell me a little about the sister show now, Riverwalk
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anime,
Riverwalk
and
Anime. That's from the other one.
yeah, yeah.
So that's our. It's a sister show. It's Riverwalk Anime. Same type of event, a little more scaled down, a little more just focused on anime there.
Mhm.
Same concept, not as much space, but it's we still have 120 vendors. Same with the artists. We end up with about 15 to 20 voice actors, celebrities, actors and actresses, and we bring in the top tier of those guys. We bring in the top tier. It's funny because we opened up, and even though Big Texas, they know us from Big Texas, they're like, this
Mhm.
is fake. There's no way these guys are bringing in these guys. And I mean, we did, we're bringing in Chris Savage, Sean Shamel, Zach Aguilar, Colleen Clickenbeard, some of the big names in anime. And you want to talk about some diehard fans? Go to
Yeah.
anime convention.
I love it. South Texas showing up for,
Yeah.
Japanese comics and
Yeah,
entertainment is
no, I
very
mean
cool.
there's another show here, and we don't consider ourselves competitors at all. They're
Sure.
to be honest, they're the granddaddy here. They've been around for I think about 20 years. It's called San Japan. San Antonio, Japan, kind of come together.
Mhm.
Man, that's an event too. The anime crowd that follows them. The anime crowd is very very loyal. They're dedicated. They're into it, and San Antonio has a huge following for it, man.
Yeah. So just let's look in the crystal ball for the future. Where do you want to take Big Texas and I mean I think Riverwalk will go along with it, but where how do you think there's avenues for growth or you're gonna extend the show out
Yeah,
or
yeah. So next year we're adding at least another 100,000 square foot of space. And
wow,
yeah,
massive.
and I mean, the building we're in, there's still room to grow. Uh,
Nice.
so my goal is to make it I mean, it's up there already, but I want to make it one of the biggest in Texas, one of the biggest shows in Texas. From there, why not go after one of the biggest in the country? Dream,
Sure.
dream big, shoot big. Um, and just to grow that and grow the influence in the community. That again, that's to me, that's a big part of this. Grow in the community. Like I said, work with these nonprofits. Again, I mean, we're working for. It hasn't been released yet, so you're first to hear. Marines Toys for Tots, right? We're working for Toys for Tots. Actually, let me make my notes so I don't forget. Right? Well,
Yeah. Perfect partnership though for
yeah,
you
yeah, no,
guys.
and my family's all military.
I
My dad,
see.
my dad was in the Army, my brother was a Marine, my uncle's a Marine, my best friend's a Marine. And so working with these, trying to help them, I actually have a call with the food bank later on to finalize it and deal with them, getting that community, getting the whole community
Mhm.
involved, making it a real community event, to where it's not, just about us, to, hey, raise awareness for these other programs that are going on. Um, just again, just to drive that knowledge for everyone in San Antonio.
Sure. Well, I just want to say congratulations. I think the progress that you guys have made, the lineup you have this year, the growth, you see the growth, you see the potential, and San Antonio continues to grow too. The economy is super strong down there. And I love the idea of, a Marine family that's also a family of comic book
Yeah.
geeks is pretty
You'd,
awesome.
you'd be surprised, man, the number of military discounts that we sell.
Sure.
Yeah, they
Sure.
show up.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's something that people can, if they look for meaning or they want something that's uniquely theirs or they want something that they can connect with and connect with other people through. It's that way in that really is cool. And it's creates a culture, like this shared culture, and it's not for anything but fun, comic book, reading, education, drawing, art. There's so much to it that are these kind of extra benefits I think that you bring, to I'm sure there's kids that come grab a couple comic books. If you went to their school on Monday, they're sitting reading comic
Yeah.
books, trading comic books, and that's something that doesn't happen just by chance. You kind of have to make it
Yeah.
happen, right?
And that's another thing. We donate over 2,000 tickets to schools around that community.
Nice.
My 3 of the 4 owners went to, at one point, one elementary school here up the street from me, and got to take care of hometown, man.
Yeah.
You get 500 tickets instantly. Every kid gets, a 2 ticket. Take care of, where you came from, man.
Yeah.
So we big in the community, help kids out, get them out. I mean, every day, we're getting, hey, I'm the comic book club,
Sure.
yeah,
Nice.
or the anime club teacher, the gaming teacher, hey, yeah, for sure, man, let's go. And, I'm not big on the, let's take a photo and promote it. No, man, like I think, we want to,
Mhm.
be some good pub, if you want to do it, cool. But to me, whatever, man, I just want you guys to have fun, So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
big on,
Yeah.
giving back, to the kids as well.
I love it. Well, there's the big Texas Comic Con stands for,
Exactly. Yep.
yeah, it stands for some big hearts and some big brains putting this together and really growing it. So cool. Well, thanks for joining today. I think people get a kick out of it. I think the I love the Texas Japan connection. The Texas, like it's a regional show, but you're bringing Hollywood to town. You're bringing top artists to town. These are opportunities that people, you don't even have this in Hollywood. Like you really are creating this fan fest in San Antonio. That's kind of just gonna keep growing and growing and drawing, making more fans and changing more lives, which is very cool. So very admirable to do so much for the community, and just want to say congratulations and thanks for talking with me today. And I'm sure the audience will get a kick out of it.
No, for sure, man. Thank you for having me.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that conversation with John Hernandez. It's clear to see how much dedication and hard work goes into making Big Texas Comicon a success every year. Not only is he growing the convention into a major event for fans, but he's also doing it with a real connection to this community and giving so much to local charities, making a lasting impact. If you're in San Antonio this October, be sure to check out Big Texas Comicon. And before you go, make sure to subscribe and follow Event Explorer for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating events. We've got plenty more incredible stories ahead. Thanks for listening. Happy exploring.